Hey everyone, it's Andy from Chronically Healthy Life. Thank you for taking your time to join me tonight for our Transformation Tuesdays with LifeWave. And tonight's presentation, I like to repurpose it for my tomorrow's presentation on Fountain and Youth of Andy because I think it's, the topic's very relevant on health and longevity. So every Tuesday, actually every second Tuesday and fourth Tuesdays a month, I do LifeWave training, and I love to share some health tips on health and longevity. And tonight, I want to talk about how our bodies are supercomputers and sharing some tips and tricks on how to upgrade our body as a whole, just like upgrading a computer, and some of the things that, to watch for if you're not doing it correctly. So let's jump right on in. I'm just going to share my screen right here. And like I said, this is going to be my presentation for tomorrow's Fountain Youth of Andy. Where's my share button? There it is. Let me share my presentation here. So let's start. Our bodies are like supercomputers. And to be our best, the hardware and software need to work in synergy together. So most people, they see their body as a machine, something that can be fixed by changing parts like a car, like cleaning your fuel lines or tuning your engine, right? They think of it almost like car, right, where you can replace parts. But the truth is our body is way more advanced than a car. It's actually a supercomputer, and it's powered by trillions of intelligent cells that communicate, and get this, it communicates through light, frequency, and energy. Did you get that? Our bodies have trillions of cells that communicate through light, frequency, and energy. And just like any computer, like I said, we have hardware and we have software, but both of these really need to be working in synergy to live a long and healthy life, right? So what is the hardware and what is the software, right? The body hardware is your physical body, your muscles, your organs, your bones, your tissues. Um, and here's what I think is very interesting. So what is the body software then? Well, the body software is what I like to call your innate intelligence. This is the signaling system that basically tells your body how to repair, how to regenerate, and how to thrive. And just like buying a new computer, you can buy the newest hardware, such as you can get better food, you can get new supplements, right? Because so many people are supplementing nowadays. Or maybe you could be working out more, right? These are sort of like hardware improvements. But if your software is outdated, your system still crashes. So it's sort of like you can buy a new computer, or you can upgrade a new computer with a larger hard drive, right? Or even more RAM. But if your computer is running old software, it can't take advantage of the RAM or the hard drive, right? So, if because it just basically slows right down, right? Because we can't take advantage of the hard drive and RAM. So what do we do about this? Well, just like how we, for computers, we install antivirus programs or patch fixes, hoping to speed things up with the software. And that's what people are really doing, right? They are exercising more. They think by eating more of a certain diet, they're going to get better. They're popping more medications. They're taking more supplements, and they're changing from diet to diet to diet. But none of this is fixing the root code, right? That the root causes, the root code for your body's innate intelligence. So our body's software, our innate intelligence, it's been corrupted over time. And depending on how old you are, it might be for a freakishly long time, right? I'm 55, so my body's been corrupted, my innate intelligence has been corrupted for the last 55 years. I honestly think maybe the last 50 years, because in the first 5 years, food was still food. But anyways, there's toxins in our food, there's toxin in the environment we're in, there's heavy metals, there's chemicals, and people are taking medications, like prescription medications, that act almost like an antivirus program, right? And these, they're taking medications like candy, and these are running constantly in your body, like background programs running in the computer, and then of course we're exposed to chronic stress. We are not getting enough of sleep, and we have constant EMF exposure, electromagnetic frequencies, radiation from Wi-Fi, 5G, Bluetooth, everything, right? We got so much EMF exposure, and all of these, they dumb down your body's natural programming. Did you get that? All of this dumb down your innate intelligence. And the innate intelligence is the part of your body or your software that knows how to heal, repair, and most importantly, how to regenerate. So it's almost like you're trying to run the latest operating system, and the 10-year-old computer can't keep up, or the 55-year-old computer, in my case, can't keep up, right? So to truly heal, you have to update your operating system, not just your hardware, right? I think eating better and exercising, yes, it's important, but that's really still just upgrading your body hardware. And you need to upgrade your software so you can take advantage of the hardware, right? So this means using natural technologies that communicate with yourselves. And if you remember in the beginning, how do our cells communicate? It communicates through light, frequency, and energy, right? So we want to be using technologies that use light and frequency and energy through maybe temperature, cold, hot exposures, right? These signals, they basically speak the same language that our cells, our innate intelligence actually understand. And that's energy, right? Because all these things are energy: light, frequency, temperature, it's all energy. And when we upgrade the software, our body naturally shifts and knows how to start repairing damaged tissues. It upregulates your immune system. So, if people are getting sick, guess what? You're going to be the only one in the room that never gets sick, right? It's going to restore your balance and your energy, right? You're going to have more clarity. You're going to have energy throughout the day where you don't need caffeine. And then, of course, the most important, being a functional longevity expert, it's going to help you slow down and maybe even start reversing your aging process. So, what are we talking about? At the core of this biological software are your master cells, right? Or your stem cells, right? And these are your master repair systems. These are your cells given by God, per se, if you believe in God or whatever religion you want to believe in, it's given to us to help us repair and regenerate our body, right? And when these stem cells are active, guess what? Your system, your body hardware, it runs fast, it runs smooth, and it runs clean. But as we age, stem cell activity actually drops down by 50% or more, and your software starts glitching. It's almost like these bugs are coming into and corrupting your OS system. So now, with your software glitching, you're going to have slower healing. You have low energy. you start having foggy brain or brain fog. You lose your clarity. And then, of course, it drives chronic inflammation, which could lead to all sorts of diseases, right? Chronic inflammation is the mother of all diseases, be it joint pains, heart conditions, cognitive, neurological problems, or even the big C, cancer, right? It all starts with chronic inflammation. And to truly, truly reboot your OS, it's almost like Control Alt Delete uh, for Windows, and for Macs. I don't know. I actually just hit the hold down the power button and it restarts. You don't have to do a Control Alt Delete. But anyways, to really truly reboot your OS system, you need to reactivate your stem cell production, right? Because remember, like I said, as we age, we lose 50% or more, depending how old you are. And at 55, I lost about 75% of my stem cells. Well, at least I did before. And what you need to do is we need to increase back the stem cell production. And what we want to do is also elevate our glutathione levels, which is the master antioxidant, which also declines of age because that keeps your internal circuitry clear of corrupt data, right? It's actually your master antioxidant that helps you detox, that helps you keep your skin tight, it helps build collagen, right? It helps build your cartilage. There's just so many things that glutathione can do, right? So that's where go with the flow. That's where LifeWave X39 comes into the LifeWave X39 phototherapy patch. And instead of putting something into your body like that just trying to fuel your hardware, we want to bathe it with your body's own light and energy to activate and regenerate your body in a very holistic way by reactivating your master cells and elevating those master cells, where your body will then know which areas it needs to help repair, which areas need some help getting a lift just to kick back to where it needs to be. And the beauty of this software upgrade, the X39, is there are no side effects. There are no chemical antivirus programs, right? So there are no side effects. It is all natural using your own body's light and energy, so you have faster healing, you're going to have more energy and faster recovery after workouts, right? After house chores, you're going to have sharper focus. And for some of us, you start looking much younger. You're going to have tighter, younger looking skin without the need of Botox or some of these other creams and lotions and potions people are putting on their faces, which is a lot of chemicals also. So you always want to find a skincare that is safe for your skin. And of course, we got you connected with that with coolness, but that's not what we're talking about tonight. So we are talking about the X39. And basically, it's going to set your body to a younger state where it runs naturally. It's going to intuitively know what it needs to do, which areas need support, and which areas need repair. And it's going to help you run like brand new, all natural, right? So, why is this time why is this the right time to reboot your software, reboot your OS, right? Reboot your innate intelligence. Because, we all live in an age of toxic overload and digital burnout. If there was, you know, ever a time to upgrade your biological software, it's now. Because the longer we wait, the more data or cellular damage that we lose, right? We're losing so much data, or we're having so much cellular damage, right? Damage to our cells, and the harder it's going to become for our system to restore to its original programming, right? We want to activate those master cells so we can restore the master plan that our bodies have to help regenerate, repair, and stay looking young, stay feeling young, and living a freakishly long time, right? So it's time to reboot your system, restore your energy, and renew your health, right? And that starts with X39. So if you haven't been patched yet, please reach out to me at longevitywithandy.com. Let's set up a time, and I can share a little bit about the LifeWave